one of the things that I think people really know you for around here is playing guitar for Jerry Reed and doing that. Mm-hmm. My understanding is you started doing that in, 97, somewhere around there?
Yeah, you're right.
How did you get into that? How did that world open up to you? Because that's kind of the stuff of, as silly as it sounds, that's kind of the stuff of legend here. I mean, that's a big honor and something that I think you're very proud of, and you should be. It's like, how the heck did that happen?
Well, I need to thank, I never talked to him, but I need to thank him. Pat Flynn, was a guitar player I had I was doing these Pickin' On records. That's another story, with the CMH records.
Now I want to hear about this.
But anyway, at the end of the day session, I guess he knew that I played thumb style, like Chet.
Yeah.
And he just asked me, I heard that Jerry's looking for a thumb style guitar player. Mm-hmm. Would you be interested in me telling his band leader about it? So that's how I got that. I don't remember if I called Bobby, his band leader, or if he called me, but I did an audition for Bobby Lovett, who played with Jerry Reed, and then he thought I was good enough to take over to Jerry's house and then audition for Jerry. Mm-hmm. I think it was in his kitchen or something like that. We just
what was that like?
Talked and played. Oh man, I
gotta imagine that was nerve wracking.
Jerry was one of my guitar heroes, mm-hmm. And so if I don't get this gig, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. And I got to get this gig. Yeah. This would be so cool. And anyway, I just inched my way in and kept the position.
That's beautiful. Nice. What at that point when you got in, what was the lineup looking like in terms of his band? So what was who were you playing with at that point?
Yeah.
Or what was the instrumentation like? Is probably a better way of asking that.
Yeah, it was basically he wanted to go back to being a guitar band again. Okay. So it was basically like the three of us, like Jerry, Bobby Lovett, and me, will pull out our guitars and do some of his instrumentals and mm-hmm. Some of his arrangements. So it was basically guitar driven. Then his wife played piano, Prissy. Mm-hmm. She played keys and drums and bass. Bart Pike on bass at that time. Bobby. Johnny Mills on drums. And I think that's the band right there.
That had to be I'm sure at that point you already had some chops, I'm sure, to be in that band. But that had to be such a wonderful learning experience to be exposed to all of that music and to be able to even just have him be able to show you that song that you played earlier and to be able to sit down and show you that arrangement, like, here's what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. That had to be unbelievable. Like what was that like for you to have that be your day job, for lack of a
Oh yeah, I would have done it for free.
Yeah,
it's like going to college. I didn't want to tell him that, but I needed money.
Smart, gotta act cool.
But I still would have done it for free to play with Jerry Reed.
That's amazing.
But he was great to tour with, great to hang around with. He was just a fun guy to be around. You always wanted to be in the same vicinity as Jerry was, in the same room when you're on the road. It's like, that's where all the fun is.
That's another thing I wanted to ask you is there is sort of that trope of, don't meet your heroes and that kind of thing. But the people that I know in life who have, and I think especially because in music, there is this binding glue of something that we all love, which is music, and that obsession with music. In my life, I find the people that have met their heroes and have worked with them in a professional setting in some way, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to them. And for you, how did you feel about that? How did you feel about going into a situation where, like, I can't imagine being in the room with that man, let alone my job is to make something with him. I can't fathom that. What was that like for you?
Well, just hanging around him. The first year was really, I was kind of nervous around him. I was pretty shy. I didn't really say anything. Mm-hmm. I didn't say a word, We'd be like on the bus, he'd be on the couch, I'd be in the chair, going down the road and knee to knee, and I would never say anything. You know, finally he asked me if, you know, son, do you not like me? So, you know, the guy stepped in and said, no, he loves you. He respects you, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is.
And that I think that's a great way to do it, because I'm sure that it's a hard situation to be in, because you want to be professional and you want to respect that person and show that, like, hey, like I'm here for a reason. But I think that's such a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
that's really beautiful.
Yeah, it took at least a year or so before I could, you know.
Because you were in there for the better part of 10 years, right? More than that. I'm probably 10 or 11
10
years.
years.
Yeah,
11 years if you go up to when he passed. You know.
So what was? How did your relationship to him and the music change over that period of time? Do you feel like you were, by the end of it, obviously you knew him far better than when you first got in that gig, obviously. How did that affect the playing role, like the way you served the music? Do you feel like that affected it at all? Just kind of getting to know those tunes inside and out, and getting to actually know him as a man, as opposed to just this incredible musician.
Just getting to know him was a big deal for me, you know. But it's like going to college, you know, for me.
Yeah.
You know, I had a certain level of skills, you know, before I came in the band, but, you know, just hearing him play and learning stuff from him, it was like going to school.
I'm sure that's just amazing.
You need another beer, Mark, or are you good?
I'm still working on this one.
Okay.
I think that's such a wonderful thing. Did that person in that clip seem cool enough for you to listen to their music? If so, go to our main channel, subscribe there, and you can watch performances from all of our guests.